Good day, everybody. It is wonderful to see everybody in chat. So many lovely people. We have Oliver. Oliver says, "Hi, Sean. When will Sandrine be on?" Right now, Oliver.
I'm
Katarina.
here.
Katarina. Caroline. Oh, Caroline says, "Hello, Sean, and mystery guest." Stuart. Doris. Lydia, hello. Burnt, hello. Katarina says, "Hi, you two." Devlin, look at I'm early. I know, Devlin. What are you doing?
Hello,
Oliver,
everyone.
yeah, I'm sorry, Sandrine. Go ahead, say hello to people.
Hello, everyone. I will not name everybody one by one. There's too many of them.
Uh, Let me turn up your audio just a bit. And also, just as a reminder, anybody in chat, first off, if you have any questions or if I've got the audio slightly unbalanced, let me know. This isn't a regular thing for Sandrine or myself. So, Sandrine, tell us about
Hello.
yourself.
So, my name is Sandrine. I am a retoucher and graphic designer. I'm living in the south coast of the UK, near Brighton. So, I'm literally my feet in the sea. Let's be a few meters away, let's say. And my main work is retouching photos for print and websites, mainly products and compositing. I also do a bit of illustration on the side, but mostly for myself.
And it's nice.
And that's it. And I've been living in the UK for more than 10 years now, and I'm originally from France, as you may hear. And
where in France, Sandrine? I don't think I ever asked you.
In the southern part of France, from a town called Toulouse, which is halfway through the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, and it's near-ish the Pyrenees mountain.
Ooh, nice.
All right. So it's very south of France. It's the place in France where they play a lot of rugby.
That's right.
Usually that's what the people in the UK might well be more in tune with the fact that it's the rugby place of France. Let's say that.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at some of your work.
Yes.
So we're looking at your screen right now, Sandrine,
yeah.
so you know. Mm-hmm. And Katarina, that's a football, and my Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Okay. Luciana, hello, welcome in. And let's take a look at one of your projects, Sandrine.
Do you want to see this one?
Yes.
say. Yeah. All right, let's see this one. So this one is a project it's a self-initiated project. It's a personal project. And when I tried to I wanted to make something from start to finish. So I had an idea of a product, which is a soap bar like that. And I said to myself, I want to design the product, I want to design the packaging, I want to design the marketing, the branding suite, the typography, everything. So it took a bit long, but so I wanted to try almost everything. And in that sense also try all the different Adobe apps I could. So I had to go obviously at Illustrator, Photoshop, Dimension, which is a 3D staging app. I also done a few things with Fresco and obviously putting the project together on Behance as well.
Okay, let's scroll through a little bit while you're talking.
Yeah. All right. So in fact, it first came as an idea because I'm a user of shampoo bars, because I prefer it that way. And I always find it really not easy to use because they always fall off in the shower when you when you use them. So I say, why don't they make a shampoo bar with a handle? So I designed a shampoo bar with a handle. So that's it.
Now,
So
I kind of have a question about this.
yes, go ahead.
I think it's a really good idea to have a handle because on my head it would like keep slipping off. There's no
Yeah,
hair.
exactly. But I think in anyone said, I don't know why they never thought about that thing, but whatever. I don't know. They should call me. I'm available.
Katerina says, I
So,
love the pastel palette.
and I wanted also, I don't have any children, but this is something that I wouldn't see a normal shampoo bar being used by children with tiny hands. It's There are usually big things like that, and you put that in the hand on a child, and it's never going to work. They need a handle, or they need smaller bars, but they need a handle.
Yeah.
So I designed it for all the family, the children, the moms, the dads. The fact that everyone can use it, that was the idea. So you see all the products and things. But so at first I did my research. Oh, I wanted things to look. Oh, I wanted the packaging to look like. I wanted to be soft and charming and something like children would want to use, something that doesn't leave much trace for the environment as well, all that kind of things. So I think, yeah,
It's
it falls
beautiful.
life.
I love the watercolor, the texture that you're using on it.
So all these things are done with fresco, bizarrely,
Wow.
which not necessarily something you would think of in a packaging, but the watercolor background, the feathers are done in fresco. Obviously, all the rest is done either in Illustrator or Photoshop because you need to be able to enlarge things, but so vector type and everything, but all the drawn elements are done with fresco. So
we have a question from chat. Hold on, I'm getting it in my ear. It's from Stuart. Hi, Sandrine.
I like Stuart.
Long time listener, first time caller. How long did this project take?
All in all, it was on in my spare time, so it's not easy to time it, and I obviously didn't time it as I would for if it was done for a client, obviously. But I would say a good month.
Wow.
On my spare time.
That's impressive.
But I'm also a slow worker, to be honest. So and like everybody, I've got other things to do, and I also have hobbies. So just you cannot. But yeah, a good month, I guess. Between the first iteration, research and everything, to finalizing the end product in Dimension, and yeah, I would say a good month.
Let's go ahead, keep scrolling through it.
Okay, so that's the logo. Yeah, all right. So yeah, the logo there. So I took a typeface that already existed, that is available on Adobe Font, and I just tweaked it a bit, added little notches here and there, and then at that moment I decided to design the product itself. So that's done in Illustrator with the 3D capabilities of Illustrator. At the time it was the old one. It will be much easier now with the new ones.
Yeah. Now I have a question about, scroll back up a little bit, please. Now, about the idea, is the knob on the handle, you have the handle, but the knob underneath is if you get the soap down far enough and you start hitting the wood part, is that to tell you, hey, you need more soap?
Yes, or otherwise you can take it off and use it without the handle
Oh,
in that sense. Yeah, yeah, yes. It's not obviously it's not necessarily an ideal solution.
it's a great start.
Or you can, or maybe someone could come up with a soap design that makes it easier when the once the soap reach the handle. I don't know. But yeah, of course, once you don't have enough soap, you just take the soap out of the handle and you just use it as you would normally. But I would expect in that stage it's small enough to be handled normally. I would
Yeah,
say. So that's done in Illustrator as well, 3D with some material. It's bamboo, so
nice.
uh, okay. So after I had to design all the branding suite, the colors, primary, secondary, the logo mark, the logo type, and an attempt at packaging.
Wow.
So it's quite simple packaging wise. It's not so people who do packaging for a living would do a much expanded version of it. So it just
Now I have a question about the packaging, and
Mhm.
you tried out Fantastic Fold, right?
Yes,
Did you
I did
try it
try
on
it.
this?
No, on this one because I wasn't aware when I done this project. I wasn't aware it existed. I tried it for other stuff. I honestly, I should try it. I will try maybe have a go sometime soon.
I don't know what has happened to that app. Nobody has really talked about it since it
Um
was came out in
I
beta.
I've I've subscribed to the beta testing for it, and there is not much happening to it, to be honest. But I tried it I think a week ago, and it still works fine.
Okay.
I think maybe they didn't. They tried to test out waters to maybe for it to be a sort of Illustrator plugin, which I think would be a fantastic idea,
Oh,
or maybe a Dimension plugin. But I don't know. They just made a poll recently about it being a web based app, independent of any other app, or maybe a plugin. I think a plugin would be nice. Most people who use packaging software have them either as big software used in very manufacturing environment, very expensive stuff, or they use plugins. So I think I don't see Fantastic Fold like competing with the big stuff, but I see it could be worth competing with the plugin stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's a good
So
idea. I didn't think of that. Okay, we can
uh,
continue.
yeah,
I'm asking too many questions.
no, no, it's all right. It's all right. That's the compositing done with an image from Adobe Stock, so just the usual stuff. So that model was done in Dimension, exported as a PNG, and then composited in a normal image. Same for that one. So trying to get the product in use and having a realization of the scale of the product so people can have a go and then
That's a great mock-up.
right. So it is the kind of thing you cannot it's such a distinctive product that you cannot really have a mock-up ready made for that. You have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's
uh,
continue on a little bit.
I think that's the end of it.
That's the end. And oh, Sandrine, you didn't appreciate your own project. You know
I
you
should do
can.
that.
Yeah, you can do that. You
All right.
can. Here's a public service announcement, everybody. You can like your own work.
Okay, let's do it. I never thought of that, to be honest.
We have a ton of people in chat. Generals popped in. Lee came in.
Hello.
Evie came in. Can we do
I,
that on Instagram too? I wonder what you mean, Evie. Not sure what you mean. Caroline says Sandrine is the queen of mock-ups. I'm here for the tips. You know what? Okay, we're going to the intro scene, Sandrine. So we can't see your screen. That is a great leadway. Martin, hello. So Caroline, this is for you. Throughout our streams, and this is Adobe Live, UK, German, French, there are certain people within the community that have talked about wanting to see more mock-ups. And today's stream, the idea came from Stuart and Sandrine. And so Stuart, thank you for that also. And Sandrine came up with the idea of saying, let's do mock-ups. Let's actually show how to really do mock-ups. Because when I'm showing projects, there are a lot of times for logos and different designs that I'm like, I want to see mock-ups. So today is a perfect day. Sandrine, I'm so happy for you to be here. And if
go ahead. Sorry.
No, please.
I think the idea is that everyone is using mockups you can find on Adobe Stock or everywhere on the web. Like, for example, you put a poster on the frame, but at some point, everybody's got the same mockups. Particularly when you try to find those that are free on for example, Adobe Stock. So there is a limited amount of ready-made mockup you can use and be distinctive in your stuff. So you got only maybe two solutions. Take existing photos, either stock photo or your own, shot with your mobile phone even, and make your own mockups from those photos, or you can build a 3D environment and do your own stuff completely in the virtual space. We are not going to talk about 3D. We are going to talk about making your own mockups from random photos now.
Yeah, I think it's really wise. And I don't want to say we're kind of taking this backwards, because the project, I just put the link in chat for your project. You know, you used so many apps, including Dimension, but at the same time, I think being able to show what you can do as a workflow in Photoshop is going to be very helpful. I was going to want to show off your illustrations, but let me go ahead. I'm going to put this into chat because I think I'm ready to actually get going. That's okay with you?
Yeah, perfectly. Yes.
We're 17 minutes in. You know, people can check out your illustrations. But let's go ahead, open Photoshop.
All right. So here it is.
Right. So I'm going to switch to your screen. Here we go. Walk us through. Teach us.
So the aim today was to make a mock-up, making some mock-ups for people who are creating products. Like, I took postcard today because it's easy enough, not spending tons of time to cut out stuff and everything, just square things. But the workflow remains the same if you decide to do mugs, for example, which are distorted like that. But if you sell, say, postcards or any type of products and you want to market them like on Instagram or Etsy, you might want to have your own photos of stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you are working with print-on-demand shops, you don't want to order everything you're selling, so you can take photos. It would be a bit stupid. You be your own customers. It's not the point. The point is for you to earn money, not to spend money.
Nobody loves me like I love me.
It's Valentine's Days after all.
Yes.
Love yourself. So the thing is that you could take photos yourself or take photos from Adobe Stock or any stock photography website and put your own products on them. So you can offer to your followers or to the customers on your shop photos that actually reflects what the product is about without necessarily taking the photos of the actual product yourself. So I started with this, which is a file with artboards. So the point is also to go through a few of the things that can be done with Photoshop, including working with artboards, working with smart objects, and working with layer comps.
And working with floating panels.
Yes, and working with Bridge as well.
Oh.
I didn't even open Bridge. I'll have to. Sorry, I'll do it now.
Wait, do you have to?
Not necessarily have to, but I prefer using Bridge than wading through the file
Okay.
from the from the Explorer. So
Okay.
with artboards on it. When you open a Photoshop file, let's do that now. No, create a new Photoshop file and not open one, new. You have your usual sizes like that, custom or 2000 pixel grid, which is the one I use most times for my own stuff. You can check out artboards there. It will create a new Photoshop file with artboards. At this point, you can, when you create a new document and you put artboards in, the only thing that counts is the resolution. Let's put 300 there. Because you will have, if I do that, up on artboard, and then you will be able to create new artboards and set up their size in the properties panel. So the original size of the file has no importance whatsoever, because you will create artboards there, and you can put the background in the color you want, or you can even have presets of sizes if you don't want to put the sizes in there. And you can also rename the artboards, which is very important for the rest of the workflow. So you can say artboard number 1 there. You can do everything just, it's in a sense it's a bit more simple than artboards in Illustrator for those who use them. It's just concentrated in the properties panel and the layers panel like that. So I already created one file with such artboards, so I will rename them. I will rename them after, when I know what I'll put on them. The way to access artboards is to click on each layer groups they are constituted of. So each time you create a new artboard, it will create a new group.
Okay.
So it's this group that you are renaming.
You know, that's actually a really good way to look at it. I've never heard it stated like that, but I think that makes it really good sense on when you're talking about artboards that people aren't familiar, being able to say they're like groups.
Yes, they're like groups. If you place something like an image into an artboard, you will place it into a group. I will show you just. I gathered photos. There's one I took myself with my mobile phone, nothing fancy. We just have to wait for the libraries to come on. And so let's have floating panel for a reason. So when you can decide to take that, for example, and drag it and drop it, somewhere. But since I had the number one hardboard selected, it's not showing. So let's say I wanted to put on hardboard 3, so I drag and drop the image on hardboard 3. I want it on hardboard 2, I drag and drop, and you see it reposition itself directly. So for example, if I will resize it, and you see that the image exceeds the boundaries of the hardboard, but since it's constricted to the hardboard by being by itself in the selected group, it won't show elsewhere.
Yeah. By the way, you are getting a ton of love for artboards in chat.
Thank you. So you can position it. The image is still the same size. It's just the visualization that it's restricted to the artboard.
Okay.
So you can make all sorts of dimensioning, resizing, whatever. It's just you see what's in the artboard. So you can, at this point, you can rename it. Let's call it frame. And we'll do it with that's another one I got from, let's say, put it there. So at this point, it will be 3. Okay, I dragged both of them, yeah. Which was not so if it's 3, I can select 3. And it shows because I was selecting the right artboard at that point. So that's another one I got from Adobe Stock.
And are these free Adobe Stock?
Yeah, the free ones you can have these ones free.
Nice.
Honestly, you don't have the same choice when you're going free than if you're paying. But the point is, for example, I took this one. So let's rename it, and that's better. So now let's go to number 1. And that's one I took myself with my mobile phone. So it's not really fancy or anything, but I think it's important sometimes when you're taking photos of your own stuff to keep it quite relatable as well.
Yeah. In
a sense that it's your stuff and it's your house with my plants so it's not obviously very professional or anything, but it just keeps it relatable at some point. So this one was taken with my mobile phone. When you have postcards like that, this is one of my postcards, and I just turn it around and photograph the other side. The other side has the same texture than the front side, okay. And it's white. So it's an ideal mock-up. There are plenty of stuff you can use as mock-ups in that sense, like you go to a charity shop if you're in the UK, and you get tons of charity shop, and you will find white blank mugs. You buy one, it costs you £1 or maybe 50p, and you have potentially a mock-up product to use. Same with posters, you just turn them around and they're white on the other side.
That's a pro tip, Sandrine. That's a great tip. I'm going to repeat that for anybody that may have missed it, that wasn't listening, that maybe were lurking. Sandrine is saying go to the secondhand mark, and you can end up picking up for £1, €1. You can pick up white coffee mugs, back of posters, and use those as mock-ups, and just take photos of them with your handy. or cell phone or whatever you call them.
And it works as well if you are using props for your photography. I just used the plant I have available, but imagine you're doing the same photos as this one.
Yeah.
The, the frame you can have at the charity shop for next to nothing. You can buy fake plants like this one, and it costs nothing, and you have something to spruce off your photos with, or like backgrounds as well. You can use fancy curtains as background, and you can buy them for nearly nothing at the charity shop. So
Um,
it's
uh,
a
I,
yeah.
I hate to interrupt you, Sandrine, but something very
And,
important just came into chat, and I'm a bit distressed at the moment.
Mhm.
Where's your banana tool?
I don't have any banana tool. I'm not yet in the ABC. I'm just putting my application, but it's taking a long time. I think they're doing a background check on me.
Okay, I'll get that fast tracked.
Okay, thank you. Put on the top of the list.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So, second thing you have to do once you have your photos in the artboard. So, by the way, you can use as many artboards as you want. I don't think there is a limit. I may be proved wrong on this one. If you know you are going to use all the same size artboards, what you can do is the simple thing. The artboard tool is there just right next to the move tool here. And when you click on an artboard with the artboard tool, you have those pluses appearing. If you do it there on one that is situated at the end, you have on the three sides, and all you have to do is click on one, and you have another artboard.
The same
I
size.
didn't click. Yeah, stay the same size. Obviously, you can make one the same size and go to the properties panel and change the size there. So you can also Alt. So Alt, it's all option on the Mac, and then you can copy one.
Using the
Same size
move
as
tool.
well. All right. Yeah. If you want to delete one, you just click there, so you have the
Now that's
the
interesting.
resizing.
This is something I've never noticed before. So if you use the plus, you got
Mhm.
artboard 1. Then if
Mhm.
you'd used the actual move tool with
It's a
option,
copy, yes.
it's a copy. I did not
Yeah.
notice that before.
I think it's better to use the plus thing, because when you
Artboard
use
2.
the plus things, it's renamed properly, and it's also positioned in a way that makes it more visually pleasing, for example, like with neat gutters and things, and it's always, where you put it, you can. So obviously, when you put on the loads of artboards, it can take up quite some space, and you end up with a file dimension there, quite astonishing ones. And it can slow down the computer as well. So something to be mindful of.
Yeah,
But I don't think there is any limit.
Stuart was just saying that his computer gets a little twitchy after about
Mm,
20. So he keeps it
yeah.
around 10 artboard.
At the same time, it's Stuart. Stuart works with pretty expensive stuff usually, if I'm not mistaken. So 20 artboard, it's quite something, yes. So first thing you do when you got your photos that you will use as mock-ups. So they are not mock-ups for now. You need to do something to them. First of all, what I like to do for myself, you can do it after that, if you want to. I just rename. I call it phone photo. Just since I like to cut them out so that I have a path ready for my artwork to go into to be construct to the postcard. So it's not necessarily I do it quickly. Obviously I can do better because nobody is here to see me cutting out things. Sorry, I got the wrong one. So be sure you're not on shape but on path.
Okay.
You could do it with the automatic tools in Photoshop like select, subject, focus area, or color range. Color range would work well as here because it's all white. I'm a bit old school. I like my pen tool.
Now, I can honestly say I've never seen mock-ups because I think I know the process that you're going to do. I don't think I've seen it done with the pen tool. So this is new to me. I'm digging this.
When I started using Photoshop, which is quite a long time ago, it will reveal my age at some point if I say, I think I started it in earnest in 2002, but or maybe a bit later. And I've always been attracted to the pen tool. It just makes sense to me to do things neatly like that. One thing it's important to do when you're using path is that you can only have one layer of path. It's not a layer. It's I don't know.
It's a path.
Really. It's a path.
A working path.
That is called work path. If you want to do another one, you have to rename it. So you can still rename it at path 1 like that. Because if you go there, make a first work path and go on to do the other one, it will erase the first one.
Okay. So even though you're working on another artboard,
yes,
it's per project that you can have one working path.
And one thing that is interesting to know, and I know not a lot of people know about path, is that JPEGs can hold path. If you export a JPEG and when you export it, you have the path activated like that.
Yeah.
It will export with the path inside.
Inside
so
a JPEG?
For example, yes. And that's very interesting because when a client asks you to cut out something, it's happened to me quite a few times. They get given a JPEG by maybe the designer they've been working with previously. And most often than not, my tablet is very laggy today. I don't know why.
You are streaming, so.
Yes, that may be the cause. Yes, and sometimes the designers forget about that, and you get given JPEGs with already the cut done. So sometimes, if the client is nice, you can say, no, I won't charge for that because the cut is already done. If a client is
I spent 2 hours using the pen tool.
No, it's all right.
Wow. I had no idea about that, Sandrine. That's totally new to me.
So what I've done, I got it wrong. I put the two paths on the same layer path.
Okay.
Not a layer, yeah. So I just cut it and created another path and pasted there. So it's for the sake of let's do it quickly. I don't want to spend tons of time on it. So it wouldn't be it's the kind of things you can go as granular as you want, honestly. If you want it neat and fancy and you want a mock-up to be really, really nicely done, you can spend time on it, or just being like I do here.
I have to confess to you, Sandrine, and I feel somewhat bad about this, but by the time that I really started getting into the pen tool, the curvature pen tool came out, and I fell in love with it. So I have stopped my overall education on the pen tool because the curvature pen tool.
I've never gone along with the curvature pen tool, but to be honest, I never really tried very hard. It's really muscle memory at some point for me to click on the control. I'm on the Windows, so it's Control and Alt and Shift to modify the note points, to modify the handles separately as well. So it's just like I could do it in my sleep. So I guess using the curvature tool would be like relearning things that I do all the time. So it's laziness on my part. There's no other way to put it.
No, it's not laziness. It's you're using what's in your toolbox.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to do things quickly as well. If it's a personal project, you can afford to be adventurous, let's say. But if it's a paid project, you're on a deadline and everything. You'd better stick with what you know and think outside the box on your own stuff, and maybe later translate it to your paid work if it works. So I don't know if Annika is in the chat, but let's say that.
Annika did pop in. I don't know if she's still here. It was a while ago, but.
So let it be known we've saved.
I didn't want you to let you know she was here. I didn't want any pressure.
So, for the sake of demonstrating that, I created some postcards on Adobe Express, which is not the way I would do normally, but it's just to show that it's a generic postcard there. I don't want to show my stuff particularly, or so it's postcard. So
it was quick and easy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. So it's just generic postcards. It's just for the sake of the demonstration. So I downloaded them. Download all pages, PNG. I always like to keep it PNG or PDF when I can, because when you start to resize, transform and everything, you start to lose some definition if you use JPEGs.
You don't want to hide that pen tool selection in the JPEG.
No, if you try to keep it neat, let's keep it neat till the end. So what I will do now, obviously, is I will put the artworks on the postcards. But as I said, we are going to demonstrate today the layer comps. So first of all, we have to do something to the postcards to use them as layer comps. So
now Bruce is asking, before you dive in, because I'm going to want to pay attention, I have to focus. Bruce is asking, great saying, love gives you wings. Did Sandrine make that up?
Yes, but maybe I have an energy drink advertisement in my head at that point. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to push myself to potential clients all the time. So
This stream is
just
brought to
like
you by Red Bull.
exactly.
We were talking about base jumping without a parachute in the green room.
I'd rather have wings in that case. I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go on, Sandrine.
Base jumping without parachute gives you wings,
The
but it
wrong
doesn't
kind
fit
of
on a
wings.
postcard. It doesn't fit on a postcard. So, so in order to create a workflow that works for those postcards, I will open. I already downloaded them. Sorry. And where are they?
Not going to use
They
Bridge.
are there. I could. I decide to spare you the view. So
I'm a glutton for punishment.
So what I'll do is I will make something that I said was called layer comps. That means that I will put all the postcards. There's just 3 for now, and obviously it doesn't really make sense to make this for just 3 postcards. The point is to have all your postcards in one file, or your mugs or whatever you're selling. So what I'll do is that open one, and I will place the other ones on top of each other, place embedded. If you are fine with linked file, it works as well. The problem with linked files is you have to keep everything in the same folders all the time. If you are linking files and then you are how do I say it, rearranging your folders and everything, they will be lost, and it sometimes takes a pain to relink files when you don't know where you put them in the first place. So in that case, embedded. Of course, if you have like 50 postcards or 50 artworks to put on objects like that, and you are very well organized, obviously it makes sense to link them, because otherwise this file containing all the postcards and containing 50 or maybe 100 postcards would be absolutely huge at the end.
Yeah.
So 3 postcards, I embedded them. When you have loads of them, it makes sense to link them. You just have to be organized.
So I noticed when you embed the last 2 that you added, they are in as smart objects.
Yes.
Does the first layer, does that also need to be a smart object?
Not necessarily. It would need to be if you intend to, for example, change a color. If you have something that is vector based, or maybe just add a tint on it, it's better to add it at the smart filter or smart adjustment. And it will not be the case there, but if you are going to make any change to these postcards at this stage, it makes sense to have them as smart objects.
Yep.
For the sake of this demonstration, it's not particularly useful. One thing that is very important at this stage is that all your postcards or artwork or whatever are the same size.
Okay.
That's it, because when you are going to replace them in your main file like that,
yeah,
you don't want to be changing size on this file if you have to change size, you have to change size on this file.
Okay.
So
Now I do see. Is that what I'm seeing there? Am I seeing a pink border?
yes,
Okay.
maybe, yeah, probably because it wasn't the right size, or maybe I wasn't very careful when I've done the postcard on
No,
Adobe
Sandrine,
Express.
you just say you did it perfect, and when you exported it from Express, it changed the size.
All right, okay. Let's say that. So at this point, we're going to introduce the layer comps then. So we got 3 layers there, and what a layer comp does is recording the state of a layer, or put it more simply, the state of a layer stack at one point in time. So you got a specific panel which called layer comps.
And if you can't, for anybody watching this, if you do not see the icon, go up to Window and scroll down to Layer Comp. Thank you, Sandrine. And you will find any panel that you're looking for.
And you can assign a shortcut if you want to. For me, it's always there as a floating panel. So, so the state of this layer stack is 3 artwork visible. If I want to show the first one, the layer 1, we have to hide the other 2. Makes sense so far?
Yes.
So this is the state of the first layer comp I will be using. I want only to show the first postcard. So I will add a layer comp here that I can rename. Love gives you wings. And I can decide what kind of features I want to show for this particular state. Honestly, I always tick everything because why not? I want to the layer comp to show the visibility of the layer. Obviously, I want it to show it. The position, meaning if I move the layer somehow, it will record this new position. The appearance means the layer styles. You can put those things.
Now wait. Can you open that panel again, please?
Yes. Oh, what?
Just go ahead and add a new layer comp.
Yeah, but well, yeah.
Okay. I just go ahead. Go ahead.
So the appearance is the layer styles, the color overlays, the drop shadows, everything you got when you double click on the layer. Drop shadows is obviously an important one if you are working with, say, stickers, for example, that need to show a little bit of dimensionality on the surface. So everything that you access to the layer style, it's very slow, sorry. So pattern overlay, outer glow, all these things, they are recorded within the appearance tick box. And very important, you have to tick the layer comp selection for smart objects. That means that the layer comp will also take into account all that you have within the smart object. Might it be filters? Might it be adjustment layers? Everything. So if you change something within it, like for example, you apply a smart filter, which is a blur filter, and if you modify the blur filter, it will consider that you have a new state of layers. So it's not the case here.
Now,
But
just to reiterate, the layer comp for Smart Object. Before this stream, Sandrine and I was talking. I was diving into some different style layer comps, and I could not get them to work at all. I mean, I was beating my head against the wall, and it's because I didn't have that checked.
and so when you watch some YouTube videos, tutorials and stuff, they always explain you why you need to tick this and that. Honestly, unless you know what you're doing, I would keep everything checked.
That's great advice.
Because unless you move things around and you don't want to register the new position, but why would you? In a sense that why are you moving things around if you don't want to register the position? But
yeah. No. I mean, does it? I don't know this, but I would assume if you're having all 4 boxes checked, it's not going to make your file more heavy.
No, it isn't.
You know, what's the downfall of having all 4 checked?
Or maybe someone in the chat knows
the
downfall of it, and I don't. That's absolutely possible.
Please educate us in chat if you actually know why we shouldn't check all 4 boxes.
So what you had, the visibility, position, layer effects, and smart objects, you have them here, and you can uncheck and check them directly here. If you change something and you need to update the settings, you just click there. But we haven't changed anything, but whatever. And obviously, if you want to delete one state, one layer comp, you just highlight it and go there. So we'll make the second one visible, the first one not visible anymore. New layer comps, everything checked as usual. Spin me around.
So just to clarify, there you go. Hold on, Sandrine.
Yeah.
Okay, go back to spin me around. So what's happening is your top 2 layers are larger, or your bottom layer is larger. So is this the time when you would fix that in this file?
Yes.
Okay.
It's directly there. Just like that.
That one's good. It's the top one.
Okay. So I've changed it, so I need to update it.
Oh, good tip. This was a good accident.
Yes.
The fact that you have to update
Happy
it.
accident.
Okay.
And same for this one.
Now, obviously, you don't have to update it because you haven't made it yet.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So blossoms. Okay, that's it. At this point, you need to save. Give it a name. Let's keep that name. It's all right. And you can close. So you see, every time you got a new artwork to do, you can start with 3 and you can add as you go along. You create new things, you add them to the original file, you update things when they need to be updated. So once you're there, we are going to apply, let's start by this one, the artworks to the mockup.
Now this is interesting to me. Before you jump in, before you place it, you've closed your greeting cards, and Garrett, General in chat just got me. You closed your greeting cards, but your layer comp dates.
Yeah,
what are those? I'm looking at the layer comp. Were those?
Ah, yes, there are things I've done. I should have deleted it. It's when I was making tests.
Oh, you were Martha
So
Stewarting us.
I,
Okay, go on. I'm
I
sorry.
deleted it. That's all right. It's all right. Don't worry. So at this point, I will embed this file we just created with all the layer comps into this file with all the artboards.
Now,
So I
what
will
is the
need.
difference if you hit place embed in comparison, let's say dragging the file off of Finder or whatever and dragging it and dropping it onto an artboard?
What I prefer to place in bed, because if I place in bed, the positioning is always at the center of the file.
Oh, good tip.
There's something you can check when you go to a preferences general mistake. Is that you, where is it? I don't know.
Oh, resize image during no.
Yeah, and also resize image during place means that the image will take the whole space and be right in the middle.
Okay.
All right. Some people don't like it because obviously, if you have a very tiny image, you'll have to do the positioning and resizing. But something that is, I think, important is to allow every placed image to be placed as a smart object, which obviously you can untick there in the preferences. But the fact that you embed everything as a smart object means that if you are resizing them, they will not losing any of their original quality. That doesn't mean to say that if you are enlarging a very tiny image, it will not be showing any blurring or whatever. It's smart object doesn't do any magic. But the fact that if you are resizing big and resizing small and big again and small again, it will not alter the original image. So I have it. I don't know where it is, but whatever. Yes, this one. Always create smart object when placing. This one I always have it checked.
I'm gonna have to check if mine is.
If you don't want it at smart object, you can rasterize it after that, But having it done as smart object right when you embed it means that you can position it and do whatever you want without losing any of the original quality of the original file.
I think it's a good workflow.
So place embed then. And I don't think, let's go one up.
She's not using Bridge.
I don't know if it ended up. I didn't check if it ended up in the. I have trouble.
You know what? You don't need to open Bridge because I noticed when you did, there was a little bit of buffering on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard, I don't know this for sure, that Bridge can be a bit of a
yes.
hog.
Yes. It's you have to compress and compact the thumbnails quite often because it takes. I don't know where I've put my. I saved it, but I don't know where I've put it. Okay.
when in doubt, pro tip: when in doubt, when you're streaming, save it to the desktop.
Yes, that's what I just done. It's probably somewhere else now, but I don't mind. So, place in bed. That's it. That's the one. It will place as a smart object. And at this point, I will duplicate it on all the artboards I got. So I can do Control J like that, which duplicates. Transfer it to another artboard by just dragging and dropping to the relevant group like that, and you will see it just happened to be the same size everywhere. And you will notice something is that I still have the properties panel open, and when you click on one file, on one layer that is a smart object where layer comps have been applied, you get a new drop-down menu which is there. It's the drop-down menu of the layer comps. And what you are able to choose now, you are able to choose the artwork that you will be placing on these boards. It's not the right one, sorry. So that's the beauty of it, is that you can have a whole set of artworks that you will be placing on demand to your mockups. So obviously what we got to do is we got to position neatly all the artworks on the mockups. So we'll do it now.
You have me intrigued because I do not artwork using paths. I don't do mock-ups using paths. So I'm very much intrigued with your workflow here.
So I don't want to spend too much time obviously doing this. So I placed it roughly to correspond the shape of the postcard, and in the path there I can highlight it, so I already cut out the finger and everything.
Yeah.
And I can right click there. No, sorry, I need to have a vector tool, any vector tool selected. So it can be pen tool, it can be the direct selection tool or whatever. And at this point, create vector mask.
Wait. I totally missed that because something is happening in chat. Can you please do that again?
No worries. So with any vector-based tool, highlighted, so it can be the pen tool or the selection tool, the vector selection tool in Photoshop.
Yep.
You highlight the relevant path, and then you right-click and create vector mask. You could also create a raster mask by going a control or command on the path, and it will create the matching end to which you will be able to mask the layer with. But what would be the point? You have a vector mask, use it.
You know what? This is something I've never done, so I'm very impressed by watching this. Like, I would have turned the path into a selection and then used not a vector mask, but a rastered mask. So this is cool. This is totally cool.
At this point, you see there's some mistakes there, but I don't want to spend too much time in there, so we don't care. You will need to add a little bit of feather there, because otherwise it will be too harsh for everything. Feather is also available on the vector mask. Bizarrely, doesn't make any sense, but let's go. So you can have, if you want a big feather on the vector mask, it will work.
Wow.
So a little bit of feather is always good, because none of the photos are 100% sharp. There won't be any photos anyway. That's not the case. And at this point, if you want to reveal all the texture beneath and take advantage of keeping the shadows, like for example the shadows on the finger, etc., you need to set the blending mode to multiply. So I will just hide the visualization of the path, you see we're keeping the shadows there.
Yep.
We're keeping a bit of a texture. What is good to find good, it's to reduce the opacity, the general opacity, so it looks a bit more natural. Something like 95 works. Sometimes it makes the texture a little bit more visible. You can see
Yeah,
it
and it
there.
kind of pulls the saturation down a little bit to make it look like it's
Yeah.
printed. And by the way,
And
just so you know, Stuart is saying, I didn't know you could feather a vector mask. Thanks, Sandrine. And Angus is saying, top tip, Sandrine.
it honestly doesn't make any sense that you can feather vector mask, but
No,
it works.
no, you can't. You can't say it doesn't make sense why you can feather a vector mask and then feather a vector mask. It's just for you.
So at this point, sorry. At this point, obviously, you see that the artwork is very sharp, and the finger is less sharp than the artwork.
Yeah.
So we will add a little bit of blur, and we could also add a little bit of noise if if there was noise on the original photo. So it's the same, and the fact that we have it as a smart object makes
it's keeping the blur inside the mask. So that's
and
great.
yes, and you can tweak if you think it's too much or not enough directly in the smart object, meaning that you are not losing again the quality of the original image, and you can even tone it down like that. If you or even change the blending mode, which sometimes when you had noise, for example, you might want to.
How did you bring up that blending option that quickly? What's the shortcut for
just this sliders icon. I don't know what
next
it's
to the
called.
Gaussian blur. Okay, thank you for
And
showing
for
that.
example, when you put on noise on an image, sometimes you just want to have the noise on the highlights, for example, or just have them on the shadows.
Yeah.
Most obviously on the shadows. And in that case, you will put your noise on darken, for example, and it will affect only the dark parts without changing how the layer looks. Like here, for example, we just applied the blur on the darken on the dark side, which doesn't make any sense in that case. But it could be,
No,
we don't know.
Looks great. Now, I may be jumping ahead, so if I am, just tell me to stop. But when you are making mock-up, and this is a card, let's say that you are selling, would you try to match? And I don't know if this card is initially white or not, but would you try to match the whites or the highlights to the highlights of the image, or the blacks to the image, or do you try to leave the card as pure as possible because that's what you're selling?
Yeah, I will try to maybe do a sort of a mix of two, so it looks natural on the way it appears as a photograph, but not really misleading.
Okay.
In the way of people buying it, obviously. So
right now, all you're doing, because thank you so much for working while we're talking. This is perfect. You're just resizing.
Yes, I'm repeating the steps I've been doing. Since everything is a smart object and I need to apply another blur, I just do Control Alt or Command Option F, which apply the last filter used. always handy to have shortcuts that repeats what you've already been doing. And there, so this one obviously a bit trickier, but again quickly. Obviously, you need to be a little bit more precise than what I'm doing. Again, path, select the right path, select a vector tool, create vector path. I forgot to apply the feather on the other one. Let's do it now.
I distracted you.
Oh, it's all right. Just again multiply, again 95. Obviously, no, not 30, 95. Obviously, you see whatever is working for you. The fact that removing a bit of the opacity makes the texture appear much nicer. So here it is. So once we have that, we can decide which one, no, not this one, which one I will put on every, this one. So you can decide, you can decide to show 3 different images of the same artwork, but obviously the point here is to make a file when I can batch mock-up, so I can have multiple images with multiple artwork on them.
Yeah.
And you spin me around like that. So one other thing we can do quickly is, let's add a logo. And so I will place embed a logo. So here one we cooked earlier. Yeah, logo.
Welcome to my company, logo.
Yeah, logo. So it's something it's also a smart object. So I created it with a smart as a smart object, and surprise, where is it? Window, layer comps. I created as a layer with layer comps as well.
Oh, see, this is so smart. I've got, like I thought I was smart when I was taking my different color logos that I make in Illustrator and put them into a library, and then I can just drag in whichever one I want. But I never thought of using layer comps for logos.
Because obviously there, you know what I mean. It just I made it green. We can see anything there. It's just a bit rubbish. But once there, in fact, initially it's created as a black one. But I've put on it a color overlay, just a simple one, normal or whatever, and I created 3 layer comps for 3 different colors.
And just by using the
color overlay.
Overlay.
And obviously in that case, it takes into account, I don't know why it's unchecked, sorry. So
you may have to refresh it now.
Yeah, it's all right, but it works. So
wow. That's something that's smart. That is a great workflow. I never thought of that.
And once you're there, obviously, I can't see anything. It's green on white. Rubbish.
Oh, that's smooth. I like the pink. Black is a little too harsh.
So, yeah, but you know, it's just for the demonstration. You can. You probably
go pink. Go. I'm giving a request.
Pink.
If you went black, I would say match the black that you've got in the hearts.
Mm.
You'd have to tone it down. Jeff Voss, good morning, love. Good to see you.
And the thing is, it's not a real company selling postcard there. But if you have a if you have a company and you have a color scheme and branding suite or whatever, obviously you have a real logo, real colors, and that's what you want to put on your logo file with the layer comps. So there you're saying a copy and paste it on each. Obviously, sorry, I wasn't on the right. So this one will benefit being in, say, green, I guess. I don't know. What have I done? Oh, it's just a little slow.
Yeah.
Does it work green? Maybe because I unchecked this thing. All right, okay, let's keep it. I keep it black. This
now
one
is I think the green's not working because it needs to be refreshed.
Yes, all right.
That's
yeah.
You have
green.
Yeah, you've got the overlay turned off. It's gray. The FX. If you go back, yep.
Yes.
Yep, there you go.
That's it. Thank you, Sean.
Hey, I can tell when I'm doing things wrong also.
And to save, obviously, we need
to save.
So we got green. So I would just put in.
There you go.
And
like
basically that's it. And yeah, important thing, because we've done all these artboards for just one thing, for the real pleasure of exporting all the artboards as files. And conveniently, we had renamed all the artboard there for the simple reason that, let me export artboards to files there. Your file names will contain the name of the artboards.
Oh,
so
you're thanking, as Joe would say, you're thanking future self, you're helping future, something like that.
Organization.
Yeah. Wow.
So JPEG or whatever in that list. Oh, in that case, always include background in export. That's mostly when you're using, let's say, PSD or PNGs. If you are exporting, let's say, PNG with white space around, if you include the background in the export, you have the real size. Otherwise, it will trim the white side, the blank part. Imported artboard content only. Otherwise, you will have everything on one file. And then you choose your destination, and you can choose a prefix to your project. So we call it postcards. Include artboard name. That's nice. No, sorry, not this one. When you say include artboard name, it's badly named, this one. It will include the artboard name in the photo. You don't want that.
No.
Sorry. So you run, you let it do its thing.
And while it's working, Stuart is saying it is great to see this. Anyone brings this workflow to any business, they will be amazed. I agree.
I think if you are a small size creator, you don't have a design department to do all these things. You don't want to spend all your weekend doing all these things. If you have a system in place, and obviously it takes some time to organize stuff at the beginning, but once it's done, all you have to do is adding artboards with new mockups and adding new artworks on your artworks file like this one. Change your logo sometimes maybe, or adding some colors in the logo. That's all you have to do. All the rest will be just choosing option in drop-down menus and export. So where are we? I think we've been a bit over the time now.
I think this has been amazing, Sandrine.
And so this is
okay, wait. Vikram, I asked the chat if they have any questions, and Bruce, I see you. Thank you for reminding me that you're also on YouTube. Vikram first had a question, and I don't understand it, but I'll pass it along to you, Sandrine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get any quick ideas for things to do? What should be done whenever you do your projects? Like, how do you get it?
My ideas in general, like I think, like a bit like everyone, it stuck when you expected the least. Sorry, in the shower while you're driving, if you drive, or every situation when you cannot take a paper and a pen and jot down your ideas is when you get your ideas. So it might help having some kind of good memory, or
Yeah.
or maybe a tape recorder or some sort. No, I don't get. Sometimes I watch something on TV and I got an idea. Sometimes I watch someone doing stuff on the street and I get an idea. I get ideas by looking at Instagram and think, oh, I like this color, and then 10 minutes later you see someone drawing a nice drawing, and you just say, oh, I like this style, and you put the style with the color you've seen 10 minutes earlier. Pinterest as well, that kind of thing. I just but I don't claim to have a very some people have systems in place to jot their ideas. I do a lot of screenshots. That's what I do. I see something, I screenshot it, and I got a folder somewhere where I put all the screenshots I've been doing in a big pile.
Nice.
And if I need inspiration, I go to that folder, and something will strike at some point, I guess.
Wow. Bruce has a question over on YouTube. Can actions be used in making mock-ups? Just curious. Never tried it or know if it's worth it.
Honestly, everything that can be recorded as a menu or can be done as an action. So I guess you could, for example, I cannot see something on the top of my head now, but yeah, you could. I cannot see a specific case where you would need it, but
I'm having a tough time seeing where actions would fall in. You would have to think what you are doing, and this is actions in general. Anything that you are doing multiple times, the exact same act, the same function, that can be turned into an action.
Yes. For example, if you want to put on the logo and you know you will put the logo always at the same place, that can be recorded as an action. I do that for my watermarking.
Yeah.
For example, if I send samples to clients, I always send sample on a 2000 pixel by 2000 pixel something. And whenever I do, I lay out my samples, I put my branding, and I have an action to put on my watermark on it.
I can see that being extremely helpful with layer comps.
Also,
having a stop within your action, and then you choose from the layer comp what color you want.
Oh yes, yes,
Oh,
yes. Yeah,
oh,
that could be done. Absolutely, absolutely. That could be done.
okay. Let's see. Are there any more questions from chat? Lydia says, off topic, was trying to clean the screen, then realized the white dot was the mouse cursor from the stream.
That's me.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump over into the intro scene. Um, I don't see any more questions. Sandrine, that was spectacular.
Oh, thank you.
No, that was. I hope you had a lot of fun. Um, that
I,
was.
I wasn't too terrified at the end. I was just thinking, oh, I will absolutely ruin the whole thing because I will be too anxious or whatever. And it's been great, really.
I tell you, this was a great stream. You taught me a lot. I'm gonna have to rewatch it just to catch up a little bit of some of those little tidbits that I may have missed because of chat. I'm blaming you, chat. But that was great. Doris is saying thank you, Sandrine and Sean, for this great stream. Oliver is saying thanks, Sandrine and Sean. Great stream.
Thank you.
Great, concise information, Sandrine. That's from Evie. Stuart says well done. You nailed it, Sandrine.
Thank you.
Um,
It was better than I expected it to be honest.
well, you know, it always helps. Having low expectations makes the day go so much better.
Yeah, that's the motto to live by.
Uh, no, this was absolutely great. I don't know what else to say. Do you have any plans?
It's been a pleasure doing this. Really, you've been very helpful, and you just part of it. It worked, and me not being too anxious because you were so natural with the let's say the presentation or everything. I just felt in good hands.
Okay. Bruce has a question, and he said asked once, and I missed it. So Bruce is saying, where does Sandrine pick up or think up these sayings from your cards? Let me switch back to your so we can see him again. So, where'd you come up with the ideas for your Valentine's Day?
Um, I, uh, um, I've used Adobe Express to make them because I had templates at the end. But obviously, as everything I do, I start with templates and I modify them completely so they don't look like templates that I start with. But it just Love Give You Wings. I've just saw the ad on the telly about the energy drink. So you spin me around. It's just because I saw a template with records on it, and I say record love. You spin me around. It's a 80s thing.
Yes.
It's a song. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And this one I just looked up for sort of cheesy quote on Google, and I wanted a short one, and it just okay, let's do this one. It is
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So let me switch over to my screen just really fast, and I'm on the wrong screen, of course. So I brought up Express and just put in Valentine up in the search engine up here in the search window. And this is a wonderful workflow for inspiration. So
Yes.
anything at all that you're making or designing, and you just want to find something quick, not to remake, not to redo, just maybe some inspiration. I do this all the time.
Honestly, I've been using Express more and more like a sort of Pinterest now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't use Pinterest, but I know you, Lady Jane, a lot of other people do, and I see how other designers use it, and that's kind of how I use Express. So I had to get a plugin for Express. But
Let's go Express.
yeah,
And as something on Express I don't use very much, but if I'm looking for a quick inspiration, something like this thing where obviously I'm not going to sell them or whatever, but you want something that it's neatly done, like looks professional, not necessarily super out of this world, let's say.
yeah,
Then Express is a really good way to go about it.
yeah. It's nice to get you out of a rut,
Absolutely, yes.
just to kind of get you pushed started. So, absolutely. But I think we are going to call it a day. Oh, one more question, Sandrine. Do you have any plans for Valentine's?
Maybe go out, but with my other half, but nothing. We don't really do Valentine's Day, to be honest. Just uh, we do Valentine's Days every day, maybe.
Well,
There's no special day, I would say.
this in the past, just because you didn't ask, in the past we always would travel for Valentine's.
Mhm.
And COVID and all that great stuff, the Panasonic um, stopped. So this is the first year that the wife and we're going to Malta. So
All right, nice
yeah.
and sunny.
Well, no, they've had flooding like last week,
All
and
right,
yeah, so
they've
this
been waiting for you to fly. So,
they heard I was coming. Get them out of here. No planes allowed. Oh, okay. Sandrine, I want to thank you for being here.
thank you. Yeah.
Happy
And
Valentine's
thank you everyone
Day.
in the chat as well.
Chat was amazing. They loved your work. They loved your tips. I hope to have you back in the future.
Might be.
Maybe. See how well you like this. When we end the stream, Sandrine is going to say, never again. No. Muhammad, hello, I am well. Okay, Sandrine, I'm gonna let you go. Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
And I'll probably be maybe see you in chat later. On really quick. Got people here on on YouTube. Gotta say hello to everybody. All right, I may see you chat later, Sandrine. If not, we'll
no worries.
Chat after this. And as for all of you in chat, I want to thank you for being here today. It was a special, fun day. I hope you enjoyed it. I surely did. And I know I'll see most of you in chat. Oh, I have a meeting tonight. I won't be in chat. I will see you all tomorrow. So everybody, I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, stay creative.
Bye, everyone.
Just be nice. Any last words, Sandrine?
No, it's been a blast. I really liked it. So.
Okay. Then have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye, Sandrine.
See you soon. Bye-bye.